Hello and welcome back to Grey Ghost Outdoors. Today we're going through what I packed to Philmont High Adventure Camp. So starting off, what were the conditions of my trek? So the conditions of my trek were actually pretty nice for Philmont standards. We didn't have a lot of rain. There was like 1 or 2 nights with rain and 1 night with hail. But overall it was a pretty good trek with a lot of sun. So that's going to be reflected in my thoughts, so keep that in mind as we go through. In addition to conditions, I want to talk about what type of trek I had. So the trek that I went on was about 62 miles, and it was through the primarily South Country. If that means nothing to you, that is something you'll come across more on your further endeavors into planning for Philmont. The elephant in the room is my backpack is not on the table, so we're going to address that. The backpack I brought is this. This is the Osprey Anther 70 liter. It is a great backpack. Some of the major features of this one is the top can become a small backpack. This is a top with pockets in it, but it can become a smaller backpack. It has some nice ventilation on the back. It has the stiff bottom for your hips, but mainly it is one big pocket through the center. There is not a lot of smaller pockets on the front or the back. There is a small sleeve in the front, but that is essentially it when it comes to pockets. That is something you want to consider when you are picking out a backpack, is how you pack. So do you pack into a big, do you want a big tube, just a container to stuff a bunch of stuff in, or do you prefer the more modular, more pockets that you can organize your stuff into different pockets? And yeah, so what I encourage when you picking out a backpack is to go out and try them on, and then you can pick your pocket layout if you want more pockets, less pockets, stuff like that. So moving on to our second thing is clothing. So Philmont suggests bringing about 2 to 3 to 4 pairs of clothing. I have a mixture of that. So what I brought was 3 shirts. 1 is long sleeve, 2 is short sleeve. My recommendation is to bring as many long sleeve shirts as you can, because it just keeps the sun off of you, and where it does seem like it would be hotter, in the long run it benefits. Next we have pants. I brought 2 pants. These are both the zip off into shorts. I liked those. Something to consider is the zippers that go up the bottom portion, so that you can zip them all the way off without having them rest around your ankles, and then when you finally can be able to get out of your boots, to get them out of your boots. So that's something to consider when you're buying them, but just some normal zip offs, or even just pants in general, or shorts in general, would be fine. For pajamas, I actually did wear pajamas where not everyone did. I thought it was quite enjoyable. It made me feel good to be able to change into something at night. My recommendation is to actually bring some athletic shorts to be able to change into, as well as a new shirt. It does get stinky over the course of the week because it is quite a long time. However, it does serve you well. What I actually ended up packing was some thin pants, some thin pajama pants, and just a normal t-shirt. Moving on to more of the clothing, these are my undergarments. So basically I brought 4 pairs of socks, and I recommend bringing as many socks as you can. 4 is about a comfortable amount, just because those are your biggest thing. You are walking all day, so if they get wet, you might want to change you into another pair. Something I additionally recommend getting is sock liners. I had 4 of them, I only have 3 now, but I recommend as many sock liners as you have full-blown wool, preferably, or synthetic socks. That just keeps the moisture off and helps with mitigating the risk of blisters. Next is underwear. I just had 4 pairs of athletic underwear, just to make sure, just try and get some like anti-chafing underwear, just underwear that works for you. Yeah. Additionally, some other clothing, I brought a fleece. It wasn't used very often, but a fleece is always nice to have, especially sometimes it gets colder at nights, indicated by the hail and stuff like that. Definitely do not get a cotton fleece, as a bunch of the saying goes, cotton is rotten or cotton kills, so I get some like polyester or wool fleece. I had brought my trusty hat, which still wears the wear of Philmont with its Philmont brand, and a fly I made at fish camp. That is the hat I brought, and I recommend bringing either a baseball cap or a wide brim hat, just some hat that keeps the sun off your face. Another thing is sunglasses. I didn't bring these sunglasses, I brought another pair of sunglasses, but definitely sunglasses are a nice item to have. However, mine broke halfway through the trip, so just make sure you have some robust sunglasses, maybe even with some sort of thing that'll keep them on your neck. A buff is very nice. I swear by these. I definitely would recommend getting them. They help to keep my neck from getting sunburnt, and that's just an invaluable thing while you're out for like 12 days. And I believe my last piece of pure clothing is my wool hat. This is a REI hat, and it's nice to keep you warm at night. It can get sometimes pretty cold, so that was definitely pretty nice to have. And last on the semi clothing thing is my rain jacket and rain pants. I recommend getting both of them. Like, Philmont has the reputation of getting rained on quite a lot. So I suggest bringing a rain jacket, and I recommend getting a rain jacket that has zippers under the armpits, because that is just so much better to hike in. You will not believe the difference from zipping those up and zipping those down while you're hiking. It makes it so much better. And rain pants, for obvious reasons, just to keep the rain off of the rest of your body and keep you completely dry. Okay, moving on to my miscellaneous items. So first off, my first miscellaneous items is gloves and glove liners. So glove liners can keep your hands keep your hands warm, and the leather gloves are definitely nice for working with your hands and can add an additional layer to those gloves to make them even more warm. Something with the gloves, they are actually included on the Philmont packing list because you are going to do some service to Philmont while you're there. Excuse me, and they will definitely need you to wear those gloves. Some water bottles, some water just overall. I brought 2 water bottles. They recommend that you separate your flavored drink one from your just crew water, as you call it. So this is my flavored drink water bottle. It holds the Philmont brand on this one as well. And this was just my crew water bottle, so this just had pure water in it. Additionally, you can separate this through your crew. However, most of the people in my crew had one, was an additional water reservoir. This one's 2 liters at least, and it was just great to also have this functionality for your water. Additionally, you can fill it up and then purify it in these, so you don't have to put the purification tablets in your water bottle. And lastly, when it comes to water, I had a 3-liter water reservoir in my backpack. This is just something I definitely recommend because it's much better than having to reach to your side and grabbing some water. However, it is sometimes harder to get to it in your pack and harder to refill. So just weigh those pros and cons, but I definitely recommend bringing one just because it can help you keep hydrated. Moving back to more of my miscellaneous stuff, I brought a notebook. I journaled the whole way through. I definitely recommend journaling your whole experience. It's really nice for me to be able to go back and read through them, and it's definitely a nice thing to fill your time. I also brought stakes. This is required on your Philmont packing list for your shelter building and for your crew shelter that you are holding under. I also brought a wallet with some cash in it. There's some stores along the way that you can purchase drinks, refreshments, and sometimes even additional stuff. A compass is definitely a necessary item. There's a lot of orienteering going on. You are purely going off maps. These are not very well marked trails, so keep in mind that your map might be your best friend and your compass is along with your map. I brought some stuff for my phone. I needed to keep my phone on because of various reasons. However, this is a place that they encourage you to unplug, and I would be completely fine with that. However, your phone is probably your best tool for taking pictures while you're out there, so keep that in mind as well. So I brought a battery pack to recharge my phone, as well as the person who was taking pictures for all of us, their phone as well, and a waterproof case for my phone, because I wasn't using it very much, but I still needed it on, so I kept it in there. My headlamp, this is a rechargeable one. The one I used there was battery powered, but I do not believe it matters that much. They seem to have very great battery life, but just keep that in mind while you're going. So either pack a extra battery or some way to recharge your battery. Some playing cards, great for chilling at camp with your crew. I definitely recommend some way of getting, of having fun with your crew and just socializing with them. Additionally, you can see over here is my crew. This is my 10 essentials bag. I have a full video on that, which I'll link up here. However, I took a lot of the survival items out of my crew bag and replaced them with some more hygiene items, which include some toothbrush, toothpaste, some soap. Definitely recommend soap. I do not remember if they provide you soap at Philmont, but you'll be using soap for your dishes, as well as your showers, which you will have hopefully a few times the week spread out, and you use like camp suds for that, and you use that for your whole body. Additionally, sunscreen and bug spray, definitely a need, preferably some unscented sunscreen. This is not, but I recommend having a stick. It was great, and great ease of application for the back of my neck and my arms, which were the main things that needed sunscreen. Additionally, I have some more tools. I have a knife. You don't really need a big knife. You do not need much of a knife at all, just for cutting applications. So I have a small Swiss Army knife that I brought. Additionally, a lighter for lighting things. They'll provide you a lighter, but you know, backup is always nice. And this thing, this is a anti-friction sort of formula. It's a paste that comes out, and I definitely recommend this for people who chafe. Also, when I go backpacking, I get some serious chafing and rashes on my sides, so that was helpful, and that completely got rid of that, and I definitely recommend some sort of anti-friction cream or powder, stuff like that. And some more miscellaneous items over here. I have a rain cover for my backpack. Definitely 100% recommend a rain cover for your backpack. Additionally, a towel. You need a towel. You could bring something bigger than this. This is a hand towel essentially. Microfiber, some quick dry. You can hang it off the back of your backpack and it will dry by the time you get to camp. So stuff like this I recommend. This brand is really nice, and I'll link it down below. Additionally, my eating utensils. So I have this is a K-bar. I believe it's called a tactical spork. It has a knife and a spork on the side. Something you'll mostly just be eating freeze-dried meals out of stuff like this. So spork is all you need. Maybe even something bigger than this. And this is a Sea to Summit bowl. Just some sort of bowl that you can eat out of is definitely recommended. Another miscellaneous item that I have is my trekking poles, and these are black diamond ones. They're very nice, but you don't need to go this expensive. I like the cork handles because they dry up your sweat. They're just really nice. Something that you do need to know is that you have to have tips on the bottom of your trekking poles before you leave. That's something that you need per Philmont, something that covers the tips. But yeah, just some trekking poles, some good trekking poles that you've been with for a little bit, that you trust, and that you know are good. One more thing is my chair. So this is my Trekology chair. This is just something you get off Amazon. Most backpackers think that, oh yeah, I don't need a chair, but while you're hiking at Philmont, you definitely want one. It's really nice. Basically everyone gets one. And it isn't that much weight, and it just definitely adds that nice extra piece of comfort. And last, for some miscellaneous gear, is my first aid kit. I recommend having a first aid kit for you personally, and as well as a bigger crew first aid kit. This first aid kit that I have was pretty minor things. Something I recommend is to have something for blisters. That was a lifesaver. My personal favorite is duct tape, but if you use moleskin or whatever works for you, blisters are one of the main concern while you're at Philmont. So duct tape served well for me, but it didn't always serve for other people. Additionally, something I have in here that I like is a bug stick, an insect stick. It mitigates the itching that you get from mosquitoes, and they were definitely out there, so I recommend something like that. And now moving on to my sleeping gear. As you can see, the main thing is there is no tent. There isn't a tent over here. I did not bring a tent to Philmont. They provided us with one. That's something I recommend. You don't have to necessarily fly down with one. It's really nice to just use their own. They're a little smaller, however, they definitely fit you comfortably in them. 2 people, and it was completely fine. But if you did decide to bring a tent, I'd recommend something like this. This is a 2-person tent with your poles outside, so you can give it to the person who you're tenting with, and just some small, nice 2-person tent would be perfectly adequate. 3-season is all good. Okay, moving over to the rest of my sleeping supplies. We have this. This is my sleeping bag. This is a 20-degree REI mummy bag. It was definitely adequate. It kept me really nice and toasty. So something like that is what I recommend. Additionally, I have it within a waterproof outside a waterproof stuff sack, and that's also something I definitely recommend, is having a waterproof case for your sleeping bag, because if it gets wet, there isn't much you can do. Also, my mummy liner. This is a cocoon mummy liner. It's great. It kept the dirt outside of the inside of my sleeping bag, and if nights were really warm, I could just sleep in this. And last is my inflatable pillow. Can't recommend an inflatable pillow enough. It's just small enough, but you'll definitely use it, and I liked mine a lot, and it'll help you sleep well. And last thing in my sleeping arrangement is my sleeping pad. This is really big. This is a really big sleeping pad, but I had before going to Philmont, I had some bad experiences with the sleeping pad popping on me, so I wanted a big one that had some cushion. Even if it popped, it would still support me. But I have since found a better one, and this is my 4 class. This is something I'd bring back to Philmont if I ever went back. This one's nice. However, that one's pretty great too, but just a little bigger than you'd like. Okay, some final things that I forgot to add and stuff that didn't fit into other categories. This is a ground sheet. There's many ways to get a ground sheet. Most of tents come with one, but they recommend that you bring your own because they don't supply them. This one's like some industrial sheeting that you got at Home Depot and cut to the general size of the bottom of the tent. It was great, but you can also bring your own tarp and just stuff like that. And last, if you don't have a pack cover, you can bring something like this. This is a trash compactor bag, so it's a thick plastic bag that you can put in your backpack, and it'll help keep the stuff inside of it watertight. However, I personally prefer a pack cover because it also gives you the added benefit of being able to use all the accessibility that your pack gives you with its additional zippers. And last but certainly not least of the most important gear that you can bring is hiking boots. So these are the hiking boots that I use now. These are some Columbia hiking boots. They've served me well. However, the ones that I actually wore when I went to Philmont were some Skechers hiking boots, and they also served me well. I didn't get any blisters while I was there. Just something you need to remember is to go out and try on some hiking boots before you buy them, and definitely wear them and break them in. Go on some practice hikes with your hiking boots. Just make sure that they're broken in so you don't get any blisters when you're out on the actual Philmont trek. Okay, last overall is the bags that I packed this stuff into. I packed my rain gear into a red, just off Amazon dry bag. I had some extra dry bags. I ended up putting my laundry in this one, and if it rained the night before, the rain fly of my tent went into the yellow one. And lastly, I also had this Sea to Summit compact dry bag. and that is what I put all my clothes in. Surprisingly, I actually got all my clothes to fit into this small, this is actually an extra small try bag, so I was pretty impressed with that. And so that's not, you don't need a lot of space to put all this clothes in. And yeah, that's it for this portion of the video. So after my gear, some suggestions that I have just to close out this video. One of the main ones is for your crew gear to have a bag like this. So this bag like this is you're going to be your toilet system. So what you're going to do is you're going to have 2 of these bags for your whole troop. So you're going to have one in like the front of your line and one in the back of your line. And what you're going to do is you're going to put a roll of toilet paper. They'll give you a roll of toilet paper when you're going, and they'll just give you a bunch of toilet paper. So you're going to put the roll of toilet paper in here. You're going to close it up, and then you're going to clip a trowel to the outside. And then you're going to hang that on the back of one of your backpacks. And that way that everyone knows where the poop bag is, and everyone can go and dig a cat hole if they need it. So one additional thing you might wonder is, how do you get all this gear down to Philmont if you're flying it? So what I did was I got a surplus military style duffel bag, and that's what this is. This is pretty big. It has a handle and some backpack straps. And this is what you can do to transport it down to Philmont. So you put it in your checked baggage, and you're going to take your backpack and you're going to slip it into that bag. And that way it's all into one bag and not gonna fall off, and nothing's strapped on is gonna fall off. Some additional things that you might have to put in a different way, like if you're strapping your chair to the bottom, you might have to maneuver it around, but otherwise it'll all fit into that bag. And that's how you can transport it down to Philmont. Well, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.